Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 20th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you had a good Tuesday, a good Tuesday, if you will. I know for me, my day was a good day. Took a couple hits, but overall, it was solid. We got up, got a good amount of sleep, slept pretty well, got to work, and overall, just kind of fast forwarding through it a little bit. Today was good. It was nice and normal. No hiccups, no problems. It was a full day, and I think that maybe that was something that kind of got to me. Plus, I went to the gym without that second energy drink. And I was just exhausted. I was just tired. And it felt like I dragged throughout my whole workout. It was a busy Tuesday, but I was able to get pretty much most of most of my workout in, sans maybe a couple of pieces of equipment, like filler stuff. So not too bad. But yeah, I just wasn't mentally like locked in. There was not enough sweat there, and that was a little bit, a bit frustrating in its own way. But I always like to say, hey, it might not have been the best workout, but it was a good workout because you showed up, you got through it. So hell yeah for that. But yeah, post the gym, we came home, had a stretch, had a snack, did some research, and here we are. So that was overall my day. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just do startup and let's get into some news. All right. Our first story comes from the Associated Press. Barcelona commuter train crashes, killing one, days after deadly train collision in Spain. A Barcelona commuter train crashed Tuesday after a retaining wall fell onto the tracks, Spanish regional authorities said, killing at least one person and injuring 37 others. The crash in Catalonia, oh, I'm fucking this one up already. Catalonia, we're going to say Catalonia, in northeastern Spain, came just 2 days after a separate train collision killed at least 42 people in the country's south and injured dozens more. So we initially covered that the other day at 39. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the story kind of goes back and forth between both train incidents. So I don't really want to like get too bogged down there. Obviously, condolences to the person who lost their life and the people who were injured in this situation. Also very, potentially scary, eerie. If you're living in Spain, thinking about this, because overall, like, the trains are reliable in the sense of you don't have something like this happening all the time. Like, generally, I think people feel safe on the trains in Spain. But, like, maybe a little bit of a reliability issue in terms of, like, maybe not showing up on time or being up and ready, maybe something like that. But having something like this back to back, very scary, very unsettling times, I bet. If you're a person who needs to be riding these kind of trains to get where you need to go, But if there's any update on any investigation between this incident and the previous one we covered, I'm sure we will be back. But let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Let's see, from CBS News. Judge wife shot and wounded at home in Lafayette, Indiana. A manhunt is underway after a judge and his wife were shot and wounded in their home in Lafayette, Indiana over the weekend. Tippecanoe Superior Court 2 Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife, Kimberly, were shot at their home on Sunday. State Supreme Court Chief Justice Loretta H. Rush said in a statement, the shooter was still at large Monday night. Lafayette police said they responded to the home on Mill Pond Lane on Sunday afternoon and found the two victims, who received medical treatment and are and are in stable condition. Police said Stephen Meyer suffered an injury to his arm, and Kimberly Meyer had suffered an injury to her hip. This remains an active and ongoing joint investigation involving local and state police, the county's sheriff's office, county prosecutors, and FBI, Lafayette police said Monday. According to a recording of the emergency dispatch operator, the caller said there was a knock on the door. Someone told them, "We have your dog," and then a shot came through the door. That's so crazy. Like, that is like the thing that like we've talked about. I feel like what those old random people are feeling behind the door when they come up with their firearm. They're like, oh my God, if I go up to this door, there's just going to be someone who's going to shoot me. So I'm just going to shoot through the door first and foremost. Obviously, don't fucking do that. This does not justify doing that fucking behavior. But I guess from the other side, this guy was like, hey, I'm going to set up the situation where I knock and I say this fucking thing, and they're going to be like, what? And then maybe get close enough, and I'm going to get my target. But that seems so, like, ill, like, planned, right? Because there's no way you're going to know and confirm that you did. Like, something about this, obviously, I say obviously, my speculation hat is on. This doesn't scream professional, right? Like, I don't know, but we will see. I'm sure that they are, like, obviously there's a manhunt underway. Maybe, you know, law enforcement knows, you know, some shit. I don't know. But I will definitely keep you posted on this shit. Definitely not a story I expected to see coming. So, you know, I don't know. Knock, knock, who's there type shit. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, I imagine we'll come back to a story like this if I, you know, hear of any suspect. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the political shit, the world shit, the Trump shit. I kind of flipped the episode a little bit. I say world shit like Spain is not an international thing for me. But you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at. The realpolitik bullshit. All right, back to the Associated Press. Trump's Board of Peace has several invited leaders trying to figure out how to work. All right, now I want to preface, I thought this was going to be some fucking bullshit I didn't even think I was going to cover. Like, I think the last time we may have even talked about this Board of Peace bullshit was during the phase talks of the ceasefire with Israel and Gaza. That was initially what it was for. They were supposed to form some kind of council that was going to have various leaders and people who were going to come and fix this kind of the situation. Apparently, that was just step one of the Board of Peace. That was just the entry point, the first thing that they were going to solve. And there's so much more to it apparently that I didn't know. I didn't see Trump's grand vision, but now he's laying it out for all of us. So yeah, we're going to be summarizing a good amount of this. I got to say that. But anyway, Israel has been asked to join U.S. President Donald Trump's new Board of Peace that will supervise the next phase of the Gaza peace plan, an Israeli official said Monday, while France is holding off, accepting for now. It is not known whether Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has accepted the offer, said the Israeli official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were discussing a behind-the-scenes diplomatic matter. Russia, Belarus, Slovenia, Thailand, and the European Union's executive arm also were among the latest to receive invitations. So I just want to go through just a couple of names just off the top of my head that were like, what? Oh, and it really then immediately started forming what this was, so what this is intended, right? The grand vision, I feel. So obviously from Russia, Putin got the invite. The Kremlin came out with this shit the other day, and I didn't believe it. Like, I was just like, oh, like maybe this was just something that they can just kind of say and get away with. No. It was an honest intentioned invite, and it wasn't just Putin. Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus got one. From Hungary, Viktor Orban. I mean, technically Viktor Orban makes sense. He's technically one of the guys who you could say is quote-unquote on the up, but I mean, he's definitely allied up with fucking Putin. He's definitely working with Russia, you know, Hungary and Russia. Like, you know what I mean? That's more or less I want to say a block, but you know what I mean? That's a group thing. That's an ally thing. I wasn't surprised to hear him say it because he's a guy who's kind of playing both sides, right? But all of these motherfuckers and more are getting the invite. I believe Vietnam might have also gotten an invite. And so it's like, okay, so what the fuck is this? Because I'm hearing all these people, and we got Israel on the docket. Also, it's worth noting that Israel, I think, doesn't even want to be on. Basil Smotrich, I'm sure I'm getting his fucking name wrong, but whatever. he came out and said, we don't want to be a part of this deal. Like, no, we actually would want to reinvade Gaza full bore, actually. That's what we want to do. We don't want peace, we want problems. And for some reason, that was the least surprising thing, that they are getting a situation where the U.S. is saying, hey, we are allowing you to control your fucking destiny here. And notice, throughout this entire thing, I'm not mentioning any Palestinians. They were initially talked about like some kind of like, I think, Palestinian technocrat, motherfuckers who were outside, inside type of thing, who are going to have some influence, some say. Haven't heard them mentioned at all. So it sounds like over the fate of Gaza, Gazans are not going to be actually having any say, having any hand on the fucking wheel here. But don't worry about it. This is essentially just going to be the new UN. I think that's what Trump wants. And as I was like thinking about this / like ranting to one of my coworkers, and once again, maybe this is like, grand view, speculation, whatever. I was like, is this the end game? And I mean the future end game for Donald Trump. Like, is this what he wants post the presidency? Because he's the chairman of this shit, and he's gonna have so much power on this shit. Like, there's gonna be like a vetoing system or whatever. We all know that's fucking bullshit. Essentially, that's gonna be like who's gonna collude the most to get what they want, and no matter what, Trump's gonna have some kind of like extra power. So what is he getting out of this, right? And I'm thinking, and maybe this is a stretch, Armstrong, I don't know, but like, you run this shit for the remainder of your tenure, but then maybe you still find a way to keep yourself as a chair. Not so much, this isn't about being the president, right? No, it's just about me, Donald Trump, being, the chairman of peace. Isn't that a nice ring to it? The guy who doesn't have an actual Nobel Peace Prize wants that, right? That makes sense, right? So maybe this is just his off-ramp to like still keeping some kind of power structure for himself. I don't know. Nor do I really fucking care. No matter what, I found this out last week. Apparently, I was listening to Planet Money. Excuse me. The Trump family, just in the second term alone, for like, I think just a 6-month span, or maybe, I know it's been like about a year now, so maybe you run the tape all the way. They calculated this family, this motherfucking empire, at this point, you can say, unto themselves, has made about $6 billion just off of fucking bullshit-ass ventures that they've been, getting across. Legal, not legal, who gives a shit at this point? I mean, who's stopping this motherfucker? Essentially the spigot is on for them. So they're making the money. Maybe this is a move to amass some power in the future. I didn't get to the best part. You have like temporary membership for so long. I can't remember how long the stage is, but to get permanent membership, you have to spend $1 billion. What? Like, and they say, oh, well, don't worry, this $1 billion is gonna go to like Gaza, to rebuilding Gaza. But I don't trust that. I don't trust anything this administration's saying. Like, any of these motherfuckers involved, I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw. It's just, none of this is what I thought it was gonna be, and I already expected it to be a fucking bad nothing burger, period. But it's crazy that this is not just something that they want to do for Gaza. This is something they want to do for the world. Like, they're literally thinking and talking like, oh yeah, move over, UN, you won't need that shit no more. You're gonna have King Donald on the scene, like the Lord of Peace, the Chairman of Peace. Let me get it right. What the fuck? This whole thing was just boggling to me. And mind you, the fact that it's an added racket on top of it was just like, holy shit. And it's pay to play. That's so fucking wild. Of course it is. Of course it is. So it just led me to really want to talk about like the money shit, the Trump shit. So anyway, that's me doing a little quick long rant about that. But let's move on. We are in the Trump verse pretty much for the rest of this, low-key. We can't escape the man. Let's see. From Yahoo News. Trump releases private text messages from European leaders responding to Greenland tariff threat. President Trump fired off a flurry of social media posts overnight, sharing private text messages with world leaders, mocking America's European allies, and reaffirming his insistence that the United States must seize control of Greenland, the semi-autonomous Danish territory. Dude, you hate when the fucking homie leaks the text, bro. You wake up to that shit like, brother, what are you doing? Screenshotting our shit like this, dude? Ew, dude. The group chat is in shambles because of you. Why? He's on his Joker mode shit, dude. There can be no going back, Trump wrote in one of a series of posts on his True Social platform. God, dude, it's so crazy to post the most serious shit on the most unserious fucking platform, dude. That's another thing. Trump's post came hours before he was set to join them at the World Economic Forum in Davos. I don't know why I always say Davos. I think it's because of Game of Thrones. Oh my god, I figured that out. Sorry, my bad. Davos, Switzerland. He is scheduled to depart Washington, D.C. on Tuesday afternoon and is due to speak at the forum on Wednesday. Ugh, nasty. Also, I know we mentioned Macron, and I feel like I'm going to forget to mention this, and I really, really, really want to. Macron got it. He was leaked. He was in the text. Essentially he was trying to tell Trump he's being really out of pocket for this shit. But like, hey, let's get some fucking dinner, okay? Let's have some French dinner or some shit. I don't know. And I don't know. Essentially, Macron got aired out low-key in these texts. But what was odd and why I want to focus on Emmanuel Macron so much is he had a speaking portion here. And he was kind of like, being a little bit defiant and cool. And I think that's what these motherfuckers got to do. It's crazy that so many of these motherfuckers are pulling like a Keir Starmer and taking shit lying down. Like, oh, it's okay. We're talking to them. Things are actually cool. And we're just going to say yes to everything. It's cool. We're working things out. We're being diplomatic. Like, brother, pull your pants up. Let's get to work. You got to say something back to this motherfucker. But anyway, what was funny is Emmanuel Macron is talking on the podium. Brother, he is looking like a young Joe Biden with the fucking silver aviators on. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to channel Joe Biden? And I'm sure if you were Donald Trump seeing this shit, you're like, oh, he's trying to pull something on me. Because, like, Trump is, like, in his dementia mode. He is Joe Bidening himself in the mind. And it's just fucking wet goo up there in between the ears. So I'm sure he's taking this as a personal affront. Like, this motherfucker's trying to diss me. He's trying to go Dark Brandon? What do you think, you're Dark Macron? According to Macron, people have said he had some busted blood vessels in his eyes, capillaries. I don't know what the fuck it is. I ain't a doctor. I ain't a scientist. But his eyes are fucked up. And, me after 2 blunts. No. And he just had to have the glasses on, but he had to talk and deliver this defiant fucking mavericky ass Top Gun speech. So, yeah, he got aired out. A lot of people did. It was weird too. The NATO guy is like, hey, dude, no, it's all good. We're trying to make that shit happen for you. We're trying to get you Greenland, bro. I'm like, what? Let me just read Mark Rudy's point, or a little quote. I'm committed to finding a way forward on Greenland, Rudy wrote. I don't know why I'm getting his name wrong. Whatever. We're going to say Rut. He's in a rut. Wrote to Trump. Can't wait to see you. Now, maybe you could say, hey, a way forward is just a solution, right? But, like, I don't know, man. Once again, it's just the glazing. It's just the fluffing. Like, and I get it. You are in a rock and a hard place. You are fighting either for your country or for your organization, whatever. And this is a literal madman. And you have to pander to him and cater to him and do all this weird shit. But, like, it's crazy that motherfuckers have spent, like, a year, like, giving this motherfucker little pieces of loot, gold, statues, watches, whatever the fuck, crazy fucking things, and say, hey, here's a peace thing, whatever, man, we love you so much. And he still calls them fucking cowards. He still calls them fucking losers. With Macron, he's like, yeah, dude, I'll just fucking I'll put a 200% tariff on the wine. Like, he's insulting this motherfucker, man, on his culture, bro. He's worse than me on this shit, man. I will say this, though. When it comes to Trump, there is something relieving, because I feel stupid all the time. I'm a dumb guy. I shouldn't be doing this podcast. But then I look at my president, and I'm reminded that, like, if that motherfucker can do it, why can't I? Why can't I do what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? We both live in the same country, right? And so until this motherfucker stops me, I feel like I can do my yapping. So I don't know. That's something of a bit of an inspiration I'm trying to take in dark times, If the orange guy can do it, why not me? Why not me, dude? That's change I can really believe in. I don't need Obama. I don't know, man. It is crazy. What was some other side news about this shit? I think they did some kind of drill in Greenland. Like, it was like a war drill, and it's very ironic, right? Because they were doing this war drill, what they said, and in general, this makes sense, it adds up, that they were doing this because it's supposed to be something that you're doing to let Russia know, hey, we're ready for you. We see you moving over there. You know, you're doing all that Ukraine shit. You've been buzzing around Poland, doing all this fucking bullshit. No, we see you. We're ready. We're doing drills, Tin Hut. But Trump saw this shit, and once again, just fucking goo behind the ears. It's just like, oh, you're mocking me. Oh, you wanna act tough, you wanna flex, huh? But like once again, he's on this whole fucking kick of like, I want Greenland. I'm gonna get Greenland. We're gonna get Greenland, dude. And he's just coming up with every reason to try to say, hey, look, like you guys are fighting me over this, but I'm right. Like we need it. We just give it to me. Let's see. Apparently, effective February 1st, he plans to impose a 10% tariff on goods from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Finland. The tariff will increase to 25% on June 1st. So, I mean, I think this is something that you should definitely take him literally on, which is going to be very frustrating. It's very annoying that he is still dealing in tariffs this way, but why would he stop? He's gotten at least enough results to feel vindicated and justified in doing so, so I get it. Let's see here. There's another aspect of this that I wanted to pull, and, you know, we've been talking about peace deals or whatever. And one of the last excuses that I wanted to kind of drop here before we move on to our last bit. But Trump ties Greenland demands to Nobel Prize and message to Norway. So as one of the messages he leaked is he's like, yeah, why would I be so focused on peace when you guys won't give me a peace prize and I fucking, you know, stopped fucking 8 wars. And the dude has like been trying to tell him, he's like, dude, you're talking to the government. We are not on the committee. We do not influence the committee. That is a them thing. We can't control that shit, dude. What are you talking about here? Please be reasonable. And he's just not hearing it. And like, it is one of those things where I just keep kind of going back to my friend's statement that he had made to me when we were talking about like the Venezuela Maduro shit. And it's like, yeah, man, that excuse that they put out sounds good, but like, really, this is just another fucking excuse. And I agree. I think that Trump, this administration, they do this shit so many times. There is so many little points of vindication for them. And to them, it's just scattered about, waiting to be plucked if you need to know. But regardless, I'm the president of the United States. You should just let me cook, is the general running principle here. So I think even if you gave this motherfucker the Peace Prize already, for real, not through Machado or whatever, he would still be fucking doing this shit. He is still about this fucking imperialism, expansion shit to appease his MAGA base, to appease his own fucking ego, you know? Like, he wants to be the big fucking man. It doesn't matter that his fucking approval rating is in the fucking tank and he's doing terribly. And technically, everyone's fucking scared about these midterms because if he starts to lose power in Congress and they start trying to check him, well, the fun stops being as fun. You know what I mean? Then we're really back at Trump 1 and, you know, the vibes are just dead. So, no, he wants to do the shit. He wants to make the expansion. He wants to fucking send all the illegals away, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to make all these dreams reality. And, I don't know, I guess live forever on the board of peace. I don't fucking know, man. But, yeah, shit's crazy. I didn't plan on talking about Greenland as much, but there it is. And while I'm on the topic of spamming things I didn't really expect to talk about, I don't think in terms of the Minneapolis shit, this isn't on my list. But what is it? Tim Walz and I believe Jacob Frey, the mayor. Frey? I think it's Frey, whatever. They were served subpoenas. They're being investigated, essentially for impeding ICE or, you know, causing, you know, they're essentially drumming up some reason to say, hey, you guys are getting in the way here, and we are going to try to get you thrown in jail, which is crazy. I would agree that is some authoritarian shit, but is it surprising? In no way, shape, or form. That's our democracy, baby. It's just at work. Cranking away. Anyway, we have one more thing I wanted to cover. Like I said, it's Trump's involved. Trump's related. He talks some shit. He yaps on the sidelines, but you know, technically he's involved. We're involved. It's a little UK, US collaboration. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. UK defends Chagos deal after Trump calls it act of great stupidity. That's a pot calling the pot. That's a pot calling the pot. Oh, I can't even say it, man. That's a pot calling the kettle black. That's what I'm trying to say. Shee. The UK government has defended a deal to give the Chagos Islands to Mauritius and lease back a key military base, following criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump over its handling. In a post on social media, Trump labeled the move as an act of great stupidity months after he and senior U.S. officials endorsed it, which is such a common fucking trope. You just have Trump literally bumper stickering something and then being like later on, because it doesn't align with where he's at today, it's like, dude, you guys are so fucking dumb. What's going on here? It's like, brother, you bumper stickered this shit. It really is like having like King Joffrey in your shit. Yes, Game of Thrones mentioned again. It is impossible to work with some motherfucker like this, but here we are having to work with them. Here we are elected. I mean, isn't that funny? Isn't that great? Once again, democracy at work. The UK government said it would never compromise on our national security, while the Prime Minister's official spokesperson insisted the US still supported the move. They're on board, guys. It's okay. Yes, the President of the United States just said this is a terrible, dumb idea and we're stupid doo-doo heads. But, like, everyone's on board. Don't worry about it. The UK signed a $3.4 billion pound deal, or $4.6 billion, thank you for the conversion, agreement in May, under which it would retain control of a UK-US military base on the largest of the islands, Diego Garcia. In a post on his Truth Social platform that morning, Trump had said, shockingly, our brilliant NATO ally, the United Kingdom, is currently planning to give away the island of Diego Garcia, the site of a vital U.S. military base, to Mauritius, and to do so for no reason whatsoever. There is no doubt that China and Russia have noticed this act of total weakness. Dude, I fucking hate how often China and or Russia gets fucking mentioned. And if it's not there, then we're talking about somehow Iran is going to cook somewhere, or it's Hezbollah, or it's like we are just mentioning our ops and we're just saying, yeah, they're haunting us. That's why we have to do this thing that's bad. That's why we have to continue this thing that is just not good. We have to keep this imperialism going forever and ever and always. Okay, sorry. Dude, communism sucks so bad. We have to like just fucking do atrocities about it. We have to like fucking like install this bad despot. Like, it's just shit like this happens time and time fucking again, and it's crazy. Even when you try to make like a bit of a side lateral kind of thing, you have someone like Trump being like, why are you guys doing this? It's like, brother, you literally okayed this deal. You literally okayed it. He added, the UK giving away extremely important land is an act of great stupidity and is another in a very long line of national security reasons why Greenland has to be acquired. See, he just decided, hey, you know what? I've changed my mind. I can now arc this shit into another reason. There was always going to be a reason. All roads were going to lead to us coming to fucking Greenland and saying, this is ours now. Also, I know I'm just doing a lot of asides here. I really don't want to fucking read this shit proper. But I was listening, I think it was to the Daily. They was kind of like doing like a state of the like year recap on the Trump administration. And I find it so funny that like these analysts, these experts, and I get it because Trump is definitely the type of guy, and this is definitely the type of administration to try to sue you for any and everything you might say. Call it fucking goddamn, libel or some shit, right? Is it libel, slander? Whatever. I think it's slander. But they were like trying to be like, it's possible that Trump is just looking at Greenland and he thinks it's so big. And that's just because, and they go out of the way to say it. That's because they see it on a map, and a map does distort it. It's just a bad misconception, and it's also said this is the one of the biggest or the biggest island, right? But it's like, yeah, it's not that big. It's just not that big. And yes, there's a security thing, you could say. Yes, there are rare earth minerals there. There's rare earth minerals in a lot of places. Do you have the means to actually, extract them and, get them out and everything? Do you? Like, effectively? Do you want to pay and put in the time for that? Probably not. But, so all these things are being put on the fucking table. I don't know, man. But they were trying to say this shit. Like, maybe he just doesn't know that it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, dude, come on. Just say he's stupid. Just say the man's dumb. It's okay. Oh man, dude, it's great. It's just a fucking crazy time. So I mean, essentially, I hope this still goes through for Chagos. It's essentially something I think that they want to try to have more autonomy over their land. Being a sovereign country, and I think that's why they were like saying, "Hey, we're gonna make that move." I mean, hopefully, I'm interpreting that correctly, but essentially, all the things were laid out so that we could essentially make this move so that like, hey, everything works. And we let them pay to keep us off of it or just like kind of stay within the base and do the base stuff. Which once again, in this situation here that we're talking about, in Greenland, all these things, we do actually have a strong presence. We are very active. Our hand casts a long and wide shadow over the world, doesn't it? Like what are we talking about here? When we keep bringing up this thing, talking about our own fucking protection, that is a joke. We already have it. We just already have it, dude. But hey, I mean, we are living in Trump's Toontown world. And we just get to see what happens when we wake up tomorrow. You know what I mean? You never know. So yeah, that's it. That's really all I have for today. I know, another weird, wonky episode. But yeah, that's it. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But you don't have to do that. I really just appreciate you listening as I, talk about my day, some of my thoughts on the news at hand. I don't know. Just do my best. I really just appreciate you, letting me take a crack at it every day. It's really cool. So thank you so much for that. Even if you don't do any of the digital stuff, even if you never give $1, that's okay. You giving your time, well, goddamn, that's timeless, baby. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.